Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the 5Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, as always, the best Mark, Mr. Mark 115. Don't you nod your head and fuck off, you. Nobody cares about you. But welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Mr. Mark 115, joined with my lovely dance partner, Mr. Carmo.
Someone say the actual best Mark, but I'm not saying
There's
that.
a few.
I'm not saying
There's
that.
a few lads
There's some.
when I put up the photo of me and Mr. Three Belts Danny Cross. There was some messages, and they are all wrong.
Yeah, some say. But
What
welcome
about the
back for
rest of
another
us?
week.
Fuck
ladies
you,
and
Mercer. That's right, I said
gentlemen. Martin is the J of the group. I am the semi-D. It's all fine.
Yeah. Who's the one with the hat? Yeah, that's what I thought. And I actually don't remember the last episode you were on, so I don't know how long it's been.
The
1 year
anniversary episode?
anniversary?
No, I think it was either the anniversary episode or no, it was the anniversary episode. I started to think it was the Corvin episode, but that was like literally a week or so beforehand.
And you were supposed to be on the one last week.
It was, but I got called away.
Yeah, we don't.
But he told us that he has more important from the depth stuff to do, so we just told him fuck off.
It
We
actually
also,
it wasn't anything to do with From the Depths for once, which was
Look, you don't need to lie to viewers, all right? We have this nice thing here with our listeners that we don't lie to them.
I think all your listeners should come over From the Depths. We're a lot
Yeah,
cooler.
and anyways,
We've got
lads, so this
merch.
week's topics. Sir, we have merch on the way, okay? Don't put us under the bus like that.
We do.
Which, do look out for that. But welcome to another week, everybody. So, this week on the 5 Marks, we are all here to talk about two things. One of those being OTT's recent show, The Draw, and the upcoming July 30th Nolan's Warehouse Hard Knox Hard Luck show, which is going to be absolutely off the chart. If you haven't got your tickets yet, you're rightly running out of time here. There's about a week left from when this goes out. So, tick tock.
Week in a day until Hard Knox.
So, but lads, how are you doing this week?
Pretty much buzzing, especially after the announcement. Like I can kind of say it now because we don't need to talk about it when we talk about the shows. But the Will Ospreay announcement for
So what? Actually, can I tell a funny
Oh.
story before we? And I wish this was. I need to actually check with Sarah if this was recorded. I was the first person in the crowd to notice Will. A lot of people were on their phones, and I was looking at the Titantron, and at first I went, "No." I was like, "Nah, it's just like a highlight reel." Shows up again. No! Boom! Up goes the thing, and that's when everybody was like, "Ah!" Like I remember the lad next to me. Like it must have been in his first OTT show or one of his first Irish wrestling shows, because he's looking at me like, "What are you getting hyped for?" Do you know, I do you know, like when you have that feeling of someone staring at you, and then like he turns around and saw it, and he went, "But I can't wait for WrestleRama. Like that's gonna be huge."
Like I can't say it now, but like looking at the poster with zero context for like that weekend before watching the shows back, I had the results. Like I thought it was going to be Will and Sammy. I was like, oh, that could be pretty good. I know now it's not because of what's been. We'll get into it in a bit. I can't tell who he's going to wrestle because like LJ seems to have plans in place for the next few shows. Sammy's preoccupied with what we're going to get into in a bit. Like the only person, and now I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but who I think Will is going to wrestle at WrestleMania, I think it's going to be Scotty Davis.
Has that not happened yet?
I'd imagine it might
happened a
have.
couple of times. It's happened a couple of
I was
times. They've
gonna
had
say-
like I think 2 or 3 matches before. One of them
did
was
they,
at a stadium show as well.
did they not fight as well? The last show he was, or was no? That was a tag
no, I
match
don't
with
think
Aussie
so.
Open, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
think so.
United
Sure,
Empire. Yeah, no, ignore
Yeah.
me. Clearly I don't know my facts.
But I don't know who else, and like unless it's Omari, but like I don't know. Would he want to put over like an import talent on what's probably going to be his last Irish?
You know what? If you
want.
want a man to step up and you want a man to get the job done, send in Danny Cross.
Oh, good shout.
Danny
actually
Cross.
be a
Danny
shout.
Cross. Danny Cross.
That's
Nah,
what
nah,
I just
nah,
really
nah,
want.
nah.
It's just be cool and Will Ospreay in his last Irish match ever.
Oh man, Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me.
Don't give this man a heart attack. He's been through enough.
Yeah. If I'm calling it now for the Oscar match, I would say LJ Clean. For me, it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
We've obviously talked about it in our group chat and stuff like that, but I think it makes the most sense. What I'd love to see happen is Osprey LJ at the WrestleRama and then a rematch at the Stadium Show, hopefully for the 9th-year anniversary. I think it'll be perfect. I think it'll be absolutely perfect.
Do you remember the dates that they put up, like a list of dates for shows coming up? Did they have the National Stadium beside the late October one? Because I was kind of wondering.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Did it
It
not?
was only to be confirmed.
Damn, because I was second guessing this today. Now I could very much be wrong. They've always done an anniversary show.
Yeah, to
But the fact that Will
TBC.
Ospreay- yeah, but the fact that Will Ospreay was on this, I was like, are they going to make WrestleRama their big show towards the end of the year now?
Originally, so I've the thing here. So it's September 2nd, isn't it? For
Yeah.
that was that's down on the list as the complex. So clearly, I'd say something fell through there. So they're going with the warehouse of the Red Cow, which is a lot better for us travel wise. It's a 10-minute walk, handy out.
So it's a lot easier for a lot of fans, to be honest, coming up from the country to be able to park just in the Red Cow is so much easier than having to travel into Dublin or anything like that. Like, so.
I don't know if it's fallen through, but they have down a September 3rd show in Belfast, which wasn't announced, as far as I know.
Not announced yet. There has been theories, obviously, all right, that they're going to do the show, but obviously no Will Ospreay or anything like that, just a normal kind of Belfast show. So I presume, like, September is obviously still quite a while away. We have nearly 2 months or so, well, just over a month till the show itself. So I presume a lot more will be announced in the coming weeks.
One person I'm hoping gets announced, because I put out the tweet and it got a like off OTT, was EY is looking for dates, and I said, I tagged OTT, he's like, please one more time, because I've never got to see EY live, and it got a like, so maybe we could see EY there too.
Would be a nice one to get in as well. He was obviously at the OTT show last year in Limerick, teaming with Alex Tishner. You could definitely do some sort of sanity thing in OTT if you wanted, between Big Demo, obviously Alex Tishner and EY as well. So
versus
pretty cool.
It'd be hilarious. They won't do it because it doesn't make any sense to do it with Demo. But remember when they did Angel Cruz and Biko with Tyler Bate versus Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, and Pete Dunne? Do that again. So it's like Kings of the North versus cool. Sanity.
That'd be sick.
It would be cool.
But like,
it would be very, very
whose
cool.
side is Demo on?
Well, the question that we should be asking, I suppose we'll get into it a bit more, is whose side is Corbin on?
I'm on his side anyways.
Same.
I would never go against it.
But you know what? I think we've actually, before we go into it as well, thoughts on the announcement OTT is going to Milan.
That's massive. Like, do you know, the thing about it is with that is like, they only started their expansion abroad really post-COVID, and it only really went to Wolverhampton. That's a big leap to go from the UK to Italy, like, do you know what I mean? And now, no doubt, with how much Italian talent is on the roster, that show is going to sell out. Like, I would imagine anyway. Between, like, you know, you've got like Renzo Rose, you've got the same, you've got Bittersweet Josh, like, do you know what I mean? That's only a handful, like, do you know. Maybe more might debut between now and November too, because there's a lot of Italian talent in the training camps as well, and in the School of Irish Wrestling. So I'm very excited to watch it back. We obviously can't, well, I can't anyway, fly over to Italy to go over and see, because it's very expensive to go to Italy. But, you know, it was perfect. We literally had Renzo on, and actually Renzo was the last episode I was on. We had Renzo on, and then literally within like 2 or 3 weeks, it was announced that they were doing an Italian show.
Yeah. It's huge, in fairness, to be able to go over there. And speaking of might be going, I may be going to Italy for an OTT show.
Do it!
Yeah,
100%. Do you know what? I've got to give a shout out to them as well. Ryan and, oh God, why can't, his name is fucking butcher me again. But like, there were people in the crowd, all right, who once they saw it, booked their tickets, their flights, everything there and then. Yep.
Jesus.
Yep. Like, I remember Ryan came up to me. And he just goes, you see the answer from Milan? I said, yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe they're going. Booked my tickets. I said, you didn't your fuck. He goes, yeah, me and the other boys, we got our tickets fucking booked. We're going. I was like,
That's
Jesus.
dedication. That's
Big
some
time.
dedication. Like.
Dean is who I couldn't think of. Sorry, Dean. You can shot me or just not give me the flag at the next show. Even though I
Oh,
really
there's the
I was
want.
flag
going.
guys.
Do you know
I was
the
going to
guys
say.
who have the big the draw banner?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's them.
Legends. I love what, like, especially the Wolverhampton one with that, the draw one. If they are listening or watching, could we have a 5Marks one, please and thanks? And we'll give you free t-shirts when we get them
They actually
done.
they made a Danny Cross one there for the last show. I don't know if you saw it, and it's
Saw it,
fucking
yeah.
class. I said it to him. I was like, you know, if that flag goes missing, just know it wasn't the 5Marks, but it was the 5Marks that took it. And he goes, "When's the next show you guys are all there together?" And I was like, "Probably would be WrestleRama." And he goes, "All right, we'll get a group photo then with this." And I was like, "Perfect, love it, and I'll steal it from you then."
I thought what you were going to say is you get a group photo of us and make us a flag. Which would
Well,
be sick
Emmett, if you
you're
want a
listening.
flag so bad, I'm not making you one.
Well, if we do end up getting a flag, Carmo has to keep it because you have the 5Mark sign that Foxy made us. So Carmo gets that, and then
But I'm the one that put this in motion.
yeah, well, I just keep Kevin. I'll put Kevin in the cage and I'll keep him, and that's my sign.
Emmett, why is he in a cage? He growled at me. But no, like he came up to me because I was in the line for the sim at the time, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I see that." I just would be like, "Yeah, we've got our tickets booked, flights, fucking." I was like, "Jesus Christ, the dedication of some of these fans." I'd love to. I'd seriously love to. I really don't think it's a possibility for myself. But for people that are going, have fucking fun. That's gonna be a hell of a show. Obviously, the main event is gonna be Renzo Rose.
It's actually going to be me and Kev in a.
Jeez.
The brand panties.
Emmett. I was going to say I was going to say an Emmett on the pole match or something.
I can't get down.
It's like, you know, that bit in The Simpsons where like all the teachers go on strike, and there's that one kid that's like on hanging bars, like Mrs.
But two big shows, obviously, possibly a Belfast show still to be announced. I assume at some point they're going to go back to the Wolverhampton.
Oh yeah, I'd say that'll be the anniversary weekends. I would hope. I have a feeling if they liked your like comments or tweet about the EY thing, since he's working with Impact again, I really feel like that anniversary show is probably going to be an Impact versus OTT kind of supercard.
Oh,
I'd love to
please.
see it.
Let's get it done.
Yeah, like, because Santino was saying, like, you know, the Impact seem all for it. Like, I know that like OTT would jump at it. That would probably sell out the National Stadium too. Depends on who's in the card. Like that, if Alex Shelley does drop the world title in like the next, like, you know, 60 days, man, if we got the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Kings of the North, obviously without who we'll talk about later, I think I'd actually shit the bed. Like, do you know what I mean? That would be so good. Like, the Motor City Machine Guns, my all-time favorite tag team. What was it? Chris Sabin just lost the X Division title. So, you know what I mean? If Alex Shelley lost his world title as well, got that program over and done with, have the guns in the National Stadium, I don't think I'd be going home. I think I'd actually die of happiness there and then on the
There's
spot.
only one person I want to see, and it's the one person I've said I want to see in OTT again, probably since we started like going to the shows, and that is Joe Hendry. Oh, I'm a massive Joe Hendry mark. Have been since I first saw him with WCPW. So I will keep saying his name until he appears, because I believe in Joe Hendry.
He just joins the fucking chat now or something. Like, Joe, how's it going?
That'd be
Just the song just plays, just like, oh my god, it's him.
Yeah, imagine. What I will say about the anniversary show as well, though, considering everything that happened at Scrapper and stuff like that, and all the letdowns that happened, I do expect Joe and the team at OTT to definitely pull something out of the bag for the anniversary show.
Oh yeah,
100%. I reckon it could be like WrestleRama is obviously looking like it being a great show now, and there's obviously been great shows in the past and stuff like that. But I can definitely see the anniversary show being special.
I've already booked off.
We will be there.
We will definitely be there.
Speaking of people who'll be there, I don't know if many people saw this. We'll have a special guest with us on the 2nd when we go to WrestleRama. So my mum will be going to her first ever wrestling show.
Do you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Go run down the story, Emmett.
So I was getting dropped to work one day, and out of boredom, I connected my phone to the Bluetooth speaker inside. Crawl just happened to start playing. Day before the first night of the draw shows, and my mother, God love her, has the funniest sense of humor, I should say, of anyone I know. So if I like, one of the things we do is I'll give my mum a random movie title, and she'll just make up a random plot about it. So I kind of went on that ad lib, but mum, I started recording her. I was like, mum, what do you think about the world title match tomorrow? Who's going to win, Sammy Dio or Mary? And she literally turns stokely and just goes, as she's like air guitaring to Crawl, she just goes, neither of them. And I was like, what do you mean? She just goes, I'm going to surprise him now, training for months. And like, what made no sense about it was, as we were talking about it and everything like this, she was like, I'm going for the world title. And I was like, man, that is the world title. And she was like, I want more than that. And I was just like, how long are you training again, ma'am? And she goes, 6 months like this. And I put it up on my story, just shit posting for my own, like, you know, my own Instagram following, which isn't much, like, you know. And I tagged all the members of the draw in it. And like literally the next day, I find that like Sammy D is like following me on Instagram. And I was like, oh, Jesus, happy days. And I got a few messages off Sammy about it and stuff like this. And I actually did record one the following day, like reacting to what had happened in Dublin. But I was inside work and forgot to put it up. But in that video, Ma'am did say straight out, she's going to be there 2nd of September. Whether it's Big Damo or Sammy, we now know who it is that has the world title at the moment. Big Test is coming. It's her first wrestling show. She hasn't done a lick of training, but she's been eating a load of broccoli and chicken. Pray for Sammy D. That's going to be the t-shirt she's going to have on the day.
She's going to be down at Hard Knox now for the next like 4 months or something, getting ready, or the next 2 months getting ready.
I'm trying to get her to go because like it did now. I would like her seeing with Osprey to be like her first experience of wrestling show, because like that'd be savage. But like I would love if she's off the Monday after Hard Knocks. I'd say I could easily get her to go to Hard Knocks, but wait and see. Baby steps with Teresa now when it comes to the wrestling.
Well, look, I think we should get into the topics we have at hand, because we've mentioned it so many times. OTTs, the draw. Now, we'll be. Emma, have you watched both shows?
So I have the results for Belfast. I've only watched bits and pieces. I kind of skimmed through it yesterday, but I haven't watched it in full. So
Okay,
I
we can
wouldn't
still do Belfast then, because I'm about half. I've watched pretty much the majority of it. Carmo's watched all of it, so we can still go based off things. But obviously, we're going to start with Dublin, and I'm going to kind of go in order of how I remember. I think I remember the layout of each match, but look, we'll go with it. So obviously the draw kicked off with a brilliant promo of the draw, and Barry, big fucking Barry, pissing off Charlie Sterling getting annoyed, and Sam just going, you know what, he's in your corner now. So obviously small bit of tension you can see there as well. Sam telling Charlie, I don't need you. But he's going to be there anyways. And then we kick off the show with the Sam and Renzo Rose versus BDE. Much like last time, did not go off to the best of starts for BDE. Carmo, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, so as always, Mr. JB came out and introduced BDE. And of course, as soon as they entered the ring, every single fan in the stadium started firing toilet paper into the ring.
Now, who gave them that toilet paper?
Well, I believe it was Los Mopadores, the great Mexican tag team who have traveled to Ireland and are now competing in OTT. And if anybody hasn't seen them, they're fantastic as well. Los Mopadores, very, very good. El Baniwano and El Ferro, I believe is their names. Very good team. Very, very good team. Yeah, they gave out the toilet paper before the match started. They were actually an extra I suppose team in that match as well. Surprise. So they actually gave out the toilet paper in their first entrance, and then they hid in the crowd, and they actually initiated the throwing of the toilet paper, which was brilliant. It
was fun. I actually, so the tag tournament, I just out of respect for Josh did not throw any toilet paper because I'm very scared of that.
That's a lie.
I did not throw one of them. I gave it to my sister.
No,
but this show, I did throw. I threw it so terribly as well. I was like, all right, let me just get this right. So this way when I throw it, you know, like when you throw it and you want it to open up? Yeah, that didn't work. I threw it and it just went into the ring. Completely missed the lads, missed everything. And I was like, fuck.
If it's any consolation, at the last show, the tag tournament show, I missed the fucking ring.
You missed the ring. brilliant. But yeah, the match became a three-way, which it was a very, very fun opener to the show. The mix of the comedy style of the Sam, who is beloved here at the 5Marks. With Renzo Rose, I loved when he was doing the bull fucking spot and coming up to Renzo. I remember just going, "Oh, he's gonna hit Renzo. He put the brakes on, stop there, and then things got really, really hot all of a sudden. Don't know what it
Very,
was.
very, very hard. So
So
obviously,
go on.
Mr. Stem's bag, as everybody always asks, what is in the bag?
Apparently,
And of course,
it's got security system in there.
it's got a quite a good security system, as the fabulous Nicky found out, as he decided to go rummaging through the bag, and all of a sudden, a big fireball just burst out of the bag.
Let me tell you, by the way, in the crowd, you felt the fucking, like, you know, the whoosh of fucking fire. Like, you get that heat out of nowhere. I turned to my dad and I was like, Jesus, that felt like the Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania 34. Just that heat, just out of nowhere.
And it was just Nicky getting burned.
Poor
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, watching that, like, how would you safeguard yourself doing that, especially if the heat, like Martin is saying, can be felt in the crowd. Like, how would you especially if you've long hair, which is going to reach close to the fire as well, like, you know?
I don't think you do. I think you just go for it. And just like, I'm going to get burnt. It is what it is. Hopefully it's not that bad. You know, that kind of I think that's basically what it is.
But it was thanks to that the Sam and Renzo Rose pick up the win.
It is. Very good victory from the two boys as well.
The first win, I believe, of that new tag team of Semzo. I was well happy. Obviously, as usual, Renzo, we talked about it with him, he just does not like Sam. So he wasn't celebrating or nothing with them. He just left him there. But Sam got a glorious ovation at the end of the match when he was stood in the ring by himself. As deserved.
I would argue, besides maybe Be Cool and maybe Sammy and maybe LJ, they're probably the three. I would say Sam is probably one of the most over wrestlers in OTT at the moment.
Do you know what's crazy to think? Sam versus Renzo Rose was mine and Emmett's first ever Irish wrestling match we ever saw.
It was actually.
And the Sam was the first person we ever saw properly, like, make his entrance.
God. And you know what? I remember what's so weird about that, looking back now, was I remember thinking, like, with the face paint and stuff, we've said this to him since, I thought that he was a lot older than he was, and I didn't realize his age until maybe 8 months later, when we met him after one of the Hard Knox shows, and he had no face paint on, and I was just like, I remember, like, I was a bit drunk now, but I was like, you are so young. I couldn't get over it, because, like, with the face paints on, when you see him from afar, and as well I'm short-sighted, like, at that Contender show, like, I thought he was like fucking 35 years of age with the face paint on and stuff. And I never forget, like, seeing him without the face paint, I was like, oh God, what?
Yeah, he's younger than all of us.
Yeah, God above.
Yeah.
But I'm
we just skip over that part. We skip over the age thing and all that sort of thing.
The 5 old men mark.
Carmo's actually 50. Can you believe that, lads?
I feel it.
But just Sam got a standing ovation as well. I'll mention this because we don't typically talk about the, like, pause in the shows. The line, you guys weren't there. The line for him for his new shirt. Oh my fucking God! From the ring to, so you went to the complex. You know where the merch table is?
Mm-hmm.
There.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when I was in line. Like, I got in line pretty fucking quick, so I didn't have to wait that long. When I was over with Scotty, that's where the line was going, and I was like, I was so happy, so happy for the Sam. I'm sure that those t-shirts definitely had to sell out, or at least near enough sell out that weekend.
Well, Sam, if you are listening, you have one of those shirts left. My name is on.
I told him, don't worry. I told him Hard Knox, if he's there, he'd love to get one. If not, WrestleRama. So
I'll buy one of Hard Knox. Yeah, definitely 100%.
But as well, poor Renzo. At the time I was in line, nobody had gone to him yet. So you can imagine how happily he was staring over at that massive line. He was not happy. I wish someone had one of the OTT guys had a camera out, because it was such a missed opportunity. But I was so happy for Seb.
Poor Enzo.
The next match then, I believe, and this could be me completely wrong, look, I took a few bumps that night myself, and this was one of them. Scotty Davis versus Terry Thatcher. What a fucking brutal match. Holy shit. Oh yeah, no, my favorite match of the night by far. What they fucking... Well, Scotty pretty much killed Terry Thatcher. Like...
He was made look legit during that match. It was savage.
Oh, Jesus. Emmet, I'll let you talk about that one a bit.
Well, like, we're pretty much summing it up pretty quick. It was pretty much a massacre of Terry Thatcher. Like, it was a very, like, it was a one-sided affair to get Scotty a little bit over. So there must be plans in place to do stuff with Scotty solo and everything like that. I don't think they're going to keep O'Mary and Scotty working as a tag team, but they're going to keep them as a faction. I don't even know if they have a name yet. We were messing around with like the J Money Enterprises type of stuff when we were fantasy booking before. But like, I have a feeling, like, we're going to touch on it in a bit. There's certain plans in place for the NLW title. I would not be surprised that come Scrapper Mania next year, Scotty Davis is holding the NLW title. Like, there seems to be something in place for him, but I can't pinpoint yet because it's so early on. But the match itself, the funniest thing I have seen in at least 6 months, Martin's handheld shot of him just being like, oh, and as the suicide dive happens, it goes from to literally that.
So,
I was at home watching this after work, and I was just like, "Oh my god, they massacred my boy."
So I'll tell the funny story. Poor Keane Noonan. So yeah, the match was it was brutal. Look, all right. So obviously, like, Terry was beaten down, attacked before the match even fucking began. Tut was screaming at Fox to start the match. He did. The beatdown just went on. Eventually, all right, Terry finds his way, comes back into the match. Scotty goes for like spear into the corner. Terry gets out of the way, hits the post. Terry does then it wasn't a bicycle kick, but it was like a back kick. So Scotty lands out in the crowd, right? So I'm watching this on my camera because I'm there like, oh yeah, that's class. I was just recording a fucking moment. I was so like looking at Scotty like, oh, like, oh yeah, Scotty, what's up? I didn't see Keane to my left. Didn't see him. I didn't know he was there until I watched the VOD back and seeing, oh, Keane was there. I thought nobody knew anything was happening. By the time I looked from Scotty to Terry was already there. So you can see on the camera, that's me diving. I'm not fucking like getting out of the way quickly. I dove like that out, and Terry just plowed right through Scotty. Scotty lands on my leg. Keane's poor fucking Keane. Keane's there. He got my leg out of the spot. They go back into the ring. The chair in front of me snapped. It was gone. Broken. I remember Keane seeing it and Keane just going, oh shit.
When you watch it back too, in the mid, like towards the closing moments of the match, you can actually see the lads replacing the chairs.
Yeah.
I got a great kick out of that watching it back.
Yeah.
Like, some people would be like, "Oh my god, I that was scary as shit." I turned to Sarah and I went, "I'm gonna do it again. That was fucking class." Like, even the lad beside me who'd already fucking moved, I was too fucking distracted. Like, oh my god, look at Scotty Davis. Oh shit, dive. Even he was there. Like, the roar, like the. I can't remember fucking words out with all the excitement. The fucking loudness of the OTT chants, like, started from that section. It was such a fucking spot. And then obviously the beatdown went back to Terry and Scotty. He win by TKO or he win by submission?
He did, yeah. He won by TKO.
Scotty won by TKO. And for a lot of people didn't actually notice this before the show, and I had just seen it. But obviously, and you had mentioned the last show about his missus and stuff like that, who we send our love and support to. I messaged him before the show even started. He put up saying that pretty much he like with everything going on, he doesn't want his little ones to see him in a bad light. You know, daddy cheated to win this, daddy did that. So he wants to start being fair, start doing the right thing. So he pretty much just said he's disbanding the detachment. Obviously, that didn't settle with one person in Noah Walker, who, when he went to the back, brutally came out, beat him down, and then slammed him down onto the stage. So I guess one person didn't take that news too well.
That was a rough looking spot too. Like we've walked past that stage several times. That is hard plywood, like, do you know what I mean? There's definitely some little supports and stuff like that. It's one of those kind of fixed type things. Man, like I could feel the impact on his back, like watching that. And like, do you know, we're getting on. Our backs are sensitive. And I was kind of watching that and I was just like, all of these guys have like work or other bookings, and I'm like taking a hit like that. I was just like, I nearly cried internally watching it. I was like, that looks so painful. But I'm interested to see what happens here going forward. Will Terry be on the rest of the Rama show? Is this going to, I have a feeling, don't ask me why, but I would love to see like a proper hardcore match between Noah Walker and Terry Thatcher at some point. I mean, like tax, table spots, everything. We haven't got to see too much of Noah Walker on OTT programming so far, whether you call it programming or not, like on video on demand, on shows. Like he's been on a lot of contender shows, he's made appearances on kind of main card shows and everything like that. He's a brooding presence, man. But like take the leash off him, let him go wild. I'd be eager to see what's to happen with him over the next few weeks and months.
I mean, you can literally say he probably did take the leash there when he ripped things off of Terry.
Yeah, breaking the chains, but I want to see him kind of rip loose now and be like, you know, a monster inside.
What I'm interested to see is where do we go now in terms of Steve and Raven.
When was Steve on OTT programming last? I'm nearly certain it was earlier this year. I don't even know.
He was on Contenders obviously a couple of weeks ago when the detachment kind of returned, but I think it was probably Homecoming before that. Yeah,
it's been a long time.
I think the same for Raven.
See if he's coming back.
No, sorry. The last time we saw Raven was a Belfast show. Was it the Road to Scrapper Belfast show?
Because I think it was Road to Scrapper. Yeah, because he fought Debbie or
she had a shot at the title, and the match ended in no contest or DQ, whichever it was. And I remember I thought it was going to go to a triple threat match because she was also calling her spot. Obviously didn't. So I'm interested to see where things go for herself now.
Yeah, if I can just get my 2 cents on the Terry Thatcher Scotty Davis match. Great to see the Temple Bar bad boy back. I did not like what he was doing with the detachment. I thought the detachment should have been booked more, but I wasn't a big fan of what was kind of going on. It kind of needless. They weren't going in any kind of direction. So good to see the Temple Bar bad boy back. Scotty Davis, wow. I'd like best of luck to anybody who he steps into the ring with. Best of luck. Like, not coming out of this unbeaten. Yeah, as for Terry and Noah Walker, I think he was very lucky that it wasn't Raven Creed or Steve Savage. It could have been much, much worse if Steve Savage got his hands on him.
Now,
much, much worse.
Now, as well, we'll mention it here and we'll talk about the repercussions of it in the other topic. Obviously, after that match as well, Terry was clearly injured in that matchup. You know, he put up a thing on Twitter the other day as well, pretty much being like, you know, I'm fucking banged up.
He was fairly bruised and everything, like So even those marks in his face, the chest, the back,
everything. Like he was beaten down. Terry said last night I was beaten, I was battered, I was humbled, and I was betrayed. I've been hurt before, plenty of times, but not like this. Never like this. Don't think I'm going to be able to bounce back this time. And it was a beat down with Terry Thatcher.
100%. I do fully expect to not see Terry for quite a while. That could be 6 months to a year. I don't know. He could be on the next show. I don't know, but I do expect that we won't see Terry Thatcher for the next 6 months to a year.
Which
maybe.
We wish Terry all the best in his recovery.
100%. And as you mentioned a while ago with Terry and his family and everything that's going on at the moment, we send our love, we send our prayers, everything like that.
So, and then the next match, which again, I'm trying to remember these matchups from being there. I think it was Anita versus Corey Zero next, if I'm not mistaken.
I can double
Sounds
check
about
it.
right. Sounds
Uh,
about right.
but so yeah, Anita Vaughn versus Corey Zero. The gals who, for some reason now, Anita does not like us. Just because I said she was small. I started a lot of troubles for us.
Well, look, her height is a god's hands now. It's her problem, not ours.
Yeah.
We're not bringing back the God's hands thing. But even that again was another very solid match. Again, Debbie coming out proclaiming that she is the real OTT Women's Champion, even calling out Seshamon, who was booked over in the UK, when she said that Irish wrestling was her number one and stuff like that. Kind of just saying, putting her point in again. You don't give a fuck. I love that she mentioned that if a contract comes her way, don't think that she's not going to think twice. She's gone, and you'll all be a fucking sap of losers for believing that she'd stay. So I'm very much enjoying Timeless Debbie Keitel right now. I'm enjoying the gals, but Corey Zero, what a fucking talent. Carmo.
I saw her at the Contendo show, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, whatever it was, and I thought she was very, very impressive. And again, on the Dublin card as well, she had another stellar show. She's definitely one for me that in the next, again, as we kind of always kind of talk about in timelines and stuff like that, next 6 to 12 months is probably going to be one of the best in the division. I can see a GN title run on the line. I can see a women's championship on the line somewhere down the line. But a very, very impressive. Just speaking on the gals as well, during that match, I don't know if it was meant to happen or what's the story, but there seemed to be a bit of an argument in the ranks between the gals, between Anita and Debbie. Things didn't go as smoothly as wanted. But overall, great match. Great performance from Anita. She's a powerhouse. She's so strong. She's so strong. And Corey as well, really showing what she can do.
It didn't seem like Anita was going to get the job done, though. It really seemed like Corey was going to win. But, the gals played a factor. She rightly hit her with the heel of that shoe.
She definitely did, yeah. There seemed to be a bit of kind of a more focused on what Debbie wanted and needed to do than the actual match itself, per se. But yeah, she ended up getting it over the line, obviously with the help of Debbie and that shoe. But yeah, good match. I don't think that's the end of what we've seen of Anita and Corey either.
Emmet, any comments?
No, not really. Out of all of the matches on the card, I'll be totally honest with you, this one was the one that kind of engaged me the least, and I don't really get why, because I'm absolutely loving what Debbie and Anita are doing at the moment, and like that, I just have to actually double check her name 2 seconds. Like Corey Zero, I thought it was stellar, do you know what I mean? But I don't know what it was. I think maybe it was because this came off the back, so this was actually after the Corvin and Damo match as well.
Was it? Okay.
I thought was brilliant. So that's probably why I was probably having when you're actually at the shows and stuff like that, and
you need your breather moment.
Exactly.
I was really invested in this one. And I feel like it was Corey that really invested me. She picks a spot and she works with it, and that's the type that's the type of wrestling I like, when someone's picking at a body part one by one, trying to hurt the person down. A lot of submission holds, from Corey. I really, really, really thought that she was gonna win. Debbie Keitel had other plans for that. As you said, there was maybe some arguments during that match. I thought, that she would be very disappointed with Anita, but she seemed to be okay with her at the end of the match. And then, I don't know whose mom that was, but she fucking stood up to Anita Vaughan and Debbie Keitel at the end of that. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't even notice that in person. I didn't actually see it. I saw the end part of that argument, but it was hilarious to watch.
That's the WrestleMania match confirmed. It's going to be Debbie Keitel and Anita Vaughan versus Session One and that lady. And I can't wait to see it.
And Emmett's Matt's going to be the special guest referee.
Now doesn't even know if it's a 3 count or a 5 count in wrestling. That should be a mess.
Fuck the 20
Man,
count. She's going all the way to 100.
Yeah, she does a
you
3
gotta,
count for the outside, like when people are outside the ring, but the
20
ring,
count.
20 count.
Just
The
fucking
world's longest
typical.
match.
But
2
then,
hours and 30 minutes.
as you said, I missed the
God.
match because I'm trying to remember these from the night. Because obviously I've not watched back the Dublin show other than that one spot that I was involved in. There were many more, but I cannot remember how many times I had to move on which matches. I just remember that one because I got involved in it. I actually beat the shit out of Scotty Davis. But Corvin versus Damo. Holy fuck. I knew it was going to be a fucking good match, but it was so fun to watch. Go on, Mr.
You know what?
Go on.
You know what? I have a downer on this match.
All right.
My downer on this match is that it should have been at least 15 to 20 minutes longer than what it was.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't think so. I think
this is the other thing I will say, especially about OTT shows, it doesn't majorly happen with like WWE shows, I suppose, because you're used to watching it at home. But with an OTT show, live versus watching it on demand can be two different perspectives. And I've noticed that from even going to shows and watching it back on demand. Watching it back on demand, it could have gone 10 to 15 minutes. It could have gone 15 to 20 minutes even longer than what it actually did.
So for me, I thought it was perfect because it's two of their biggest guys going on it. Like they weren't wrestling. They were beating the shit out of each other. Like I love as well at the very beginning they kind of gave little like moments of like holding back. Like I think there was one spot Corbin had him in the corner, was going to like deliver like a punch. He was like, reflexes, look, nothing personal. So I love that there was still that kind of we're brothers aspect, but it quickly went away. I think the ending was perfect. I feel like Corvin, I don't know if he knew he was like, that's it, I'm fucked. But he challenged Damo like, fucking give it to me. Do you know? I feel like it's because he thought he could take a lot more punishment. Damo gave him that punishment that might have cost him. What was it? 3 fucking splashes? I think it was.
3, yeah.
That
3.
ended that all. So I think it was very much Corbin thought he could handle a lot more of Damo than he actually could. I thought there and then there was going to be, because we know we had Corvin on, he's very driven to get that world title. I thought there was going to be something then. He swooped in, shook his hand, obviously not happy shaking his hand, got out, still pissed off, and he walked straight to the back. It was a brilliant match. Definitely one of my top 3 of the night. But I think it was very much Corvin thought he could handle more of Damo than he actually could. Emmet.
I like in general, I thought the match was fantastic. Great hoss fight, like 2 big lads beating the shit out of each other. Watching it in the moments, because I was watching obviously on demand and wasn't there in person over work. The one gripe I have, but thinking back and it isn't really a gripe, was I did love the slow build at the start, but like the will we, won't we, the gradual build and everything like that. And this is really just me. It's just a kind of like, it's a trend that really happens when you have face versus face. But like the fist bumps every 2 seconds, we're like, we won't. Or the shaking hands every 2 seconds, the first 90 seconds of match. You don't need to do that. You do it once. And this is only coming from fan. I'm obviously not a worker or anything like this. So, if any talent distances in the time to go fuck myself, of course it's justified. Like, do you know what I mean? I get its purpose, but from a storytelling aspect, I wouldn't do it because it's a little bit on the nose. But again, I'm not a fucking professional wrestler, so I don't know what this is. I can say this now because obviously by the time that people listen to this episode, that I've heard, all the results and everything like this. Watching that show back, having an idea what was going to happen the next night, it actually gave me like a kind of like a bonus watching it, because the storytelling aspect, like you were saying, what it changed now was like, so it wasn't it like the thing with Corvin's character now is it went from like an overconfidence to self-doubt, which is great.
Yes, love that.
And see, that's the thing now, is because when what happened on at the end of the Belfast show happens, it didn't come from a place of really, really wanting the world title. He does want the world title, but he's doubting himself because for the entirety of his OTT run, he's been part of a faction, part of a tag team. And granted, while he's one of the most decorated tag team champions in the history of OTT, he wants to be that top guy. He had that moment, and his overconfidence cost him that. And then the insecurity comes out, and that's when you have like the shit the bed moment that happens at the end of the Belfast show, which we'll get onto in a bit. I really hope this isn't a 2 or 3 show thing. I hope this is the thing with Corbin that goes on for a few months. Let this self-doubt keep festering. One thing I would love to see, maybe at the anniversary show, because all of these guys are starting to take it like individual bookings. Could you imagine a single, like, I think, I can say it now anyway, because like we'll be talking about shows. I do think WrestleRama is going to have a triple threat between Corbin, Damo, and Sammy D for the world title. But I would love National Stadium anniversary show, Bonesaw, Corbin, give them 25 minutes, let them beat the shit out of each other, because there is dissension in the ranks after Corbin's actions at the end of the show in Belfast. There's a great story to be told here if it's told right, and I really, really am hoping to tell it right, because it would be great to see it unfold.
No, I love that was actually like brilliant. That was literally everything. Well, not everything. Most of what I wanted to say, but just said so much better. Love that.
From the depths, we just do it better.
Kick her off the chat there, please.
But then the next match of the night. This straight off the bat is match of the fucking night, this one. And I remember when the two lads were coming out, I said to my sister, I said, I'm going to need you to record some of this match because I have to watch this. Charlie Sterling, Leighton Buzzard was so fucking good. So fucking good. I see you want to doubt, so I'll let you go.
I have a gripe with this match, and it's probably going to surprise a lot of people. And the gripe I had with this match was be cool. I get it from a storyline purpose, adding to the whole Charlie Sterling thing and all that sort of stuff. But I would have much rather just seen a one-on-one contest.
Okay,
much rather seen a one-on-one contest. Again, as I said, I get it from a storyline point of view. I get it from all of that. Absolutely fine. And the match itself was actually really good, even still. But I would have loved to just seen a one-on-one contest between Charlie Sterling and Leighton Buzzard. That's all.
No, yeah, no, that's actually fair. That's actually quite. I'll give you that. Because I would have the same. I feel like being there, the comedy really added to it. Kind of really kept you engaged. Although, like, the two lads can do that themselves. It was literally the two best wrestlers in Europe right now, going at it. And Charlie Sterling, I fucking love that man. Like, the way he presents himself. My one bad thing was that Charlie came out and Charlie did not go and grab someone's beer. That was my one.
He never does in the complex. It's only in the stadium. Only in the stadium.
Not enough range without causing a lot of splash.
I was there like
only in the stadium.
I was there like, oh god, who's drinks to the ground now? Who's gonna throw it out? You know, kind of get myself ready. I was like, he didn't. The two lads put on a fucking great match. I believe there was a spot where I got caught on the outside again. Between the two lads. I can't remember though. I'll when I go back and watch it, I'll remember no problem. It seemed like there was a lot of Be Cool trying to make Charlie lose. Like, I think there was one. I think the spot was Leighton was on our side. Charlie was up. He was like, Charlie, Brain Buster. He's like, what the fuck you talking about? Goes over. Of course, Leighton comes in and beats him down. I thought it was so good. I thought the ending. I could have done without that type of ending. I understand what they were doing, but I don't know. I thought he really didn't need Barry pushing him off to do the finisher and getting the pin on Charlie. I thought just have him take out Barry and just do it yourself. I thought at some point Charlie might have gotten up or something, but nope. I get where they're going with it. Barry costs Charlie. Charlie's going to hate Barry. But I would have rather done without it. I would have liked a clean finish to, Leighton versus Charlie. Because this is it. This the last time seeing Leighton Buzzard in Dublin. So, but it was a hell of a match.
For now. For now. He will be back. 100% he will be back.
But it was a great fucking goodbye match. Emmett, I'll throw it to you now for that one.
I was kind of left with more questions and answers in this, or questions and answers at the end of this match. I thought it was great. One thing I must say as well, actually, is like proof in the pudding that the in-ring work was pretty great. Was the amount of like talent sharing the reels to do with that match after, of like some of the exchanges between, like, Dan Maloney shared it, Session Mott shared it. Like, that's just two off the top of my head. I remember seeing quite a lot sharing it. In ring wise, it was absolutely fantastic. I would love, now, where and when this could ever happen, I don't know. I would love to see them go like 30 plus minutes with no gimmicks, no storyline, just straight up. Do you know what I mean? Where it leaves me with more questions and answers is, like, I really thought that I had this sus what they're doing with the draw. I really thought this weekend was going to be turn everything is. I really think it might be WrestleRama, because like you don't have much space now between WrestleRama and the anniversary show. Like, we do have there's one more show on August 20th before WrestleRama.
There's a show on Finglas and there's a show on the KFRC, I think.
Also, there's two.
They're both before. Yep. I think there's two.
There's two.
So I think over those two shows there'll be more of the dissension. And then WrestleRama, when Adam Maxted returns, that's when you have, spoiler alert for later in the card, Jay will just hand the two boys their tag belts back. And Jay is going to be the leader of the draw. And Sammy's going to get excommunicated. Well, Danny Cross.
Jay.
Well, Johnny Cross is going to give him the belts. And there'll be a new version of the draw with Sammy D being excommunicated because of all this shit would be cool. And I don't know where you go from there, but that turn is going to happen. Like,
I don't think so.
I do get your theory on it. I just don't see what you do long term if Barry is the one to turn. Well, like, I don't know. I can't call it. See, this is why I'm left with more questions than answers. I honestly cannot call where it's going to go over the next 2 weeks.
So I don't think.
I think we should wait till the main event before we really go into all this.
Yeah, okay.
The main event and kind of go into it a bit more. Just a little comment again on the Sterling and Buzzard match. My favorite part of that match was actually Charlie Sterling's entrance, because it is one of the best entrances of any wrestler ever. Coming out to Stranglehold, it suits him so good. It's so brilliant.
I was actually shocked. I thought he was going to come out to crawl, because that's what they normally come out to, all of them.
That's what I thought as well, but I'm so glad they made him go to Stranglehold. So glad.
So the next match then, the last match before the break, which, by the way, the fact that we had 6 matches, whew, it was a long haul to get to the break. Trent 7, LJ Cleary in a Trent 7-minute match. Carmo.
I enjoyed the match. Trent getting booed as well, I thought was really kind of cool, especially because he's obviously been away for the last 4 months. People want the NLW title defended, and you're coming off high standards as well, with Sammy D obviously being the champ for the last year and a half or so. Speaking on the match itself, the 7-minute thing I thought was quite cool. Obviously LJ had to beat him, and then that was the official title match, and so on and so forth, and maybe not Belfast, cards up to change. What I didn't necessarily like about the match is there was a couple of times where it was kind of stop, start, and I understand that from a timing purpose. There might have been a case where, like, LJ was outside the ring and he was kind of stalling to get back in and stuff like that, but again, that can all just kind of happen. But the match itself I thought was really, really good. Trent got all his offense in with the corkscrew pile driver and the double arm powerbomb thing, and obviously LJ ended up getting the tap out win. Very, very good match. Delighted for LJ to get that NLW title around his waist. Absolutely thrilled. It's another match that could have been a lot longer. I understand time constraints and stuff like that, and the 7 minutes thing and add to it. But yeah, overall, great match.
I really thought they were going to do like a last second win. I remember saying this to Ryan. I think I was saying to, or was it Ryan or was it Scott? Because the thing was like he had like 40 seconds left and he won the match. I really thought it was going to go down to 3, 2, 1, yeah! But the place erupted for LJ winning the NLW world title. Sorry, NLW title. Like you literally couldn't hear a pin drop inside there. It was a major moment. which also left a lot of questions at the end of the Dublin show, which obviously were answered the very next day. But Emmet, what you think of the match?
I was pretty happy with the finish. Like going off your point there about like what was going to happen the next day. Like I kind of was pretty confident anyway. Like I missed something along the build up to after those two matches were announced, because like I always assumed the Saturday was going to be a title match and they were automatically going to have a title match the next day. There was going to be a best of two. So like this whole confusion thing around it, I didn't get. But
so the story around it was, I think it was Ty had said it to Joe, like, why is LG getting a match? This man has lost to Trent every flipping time, and you're just gonna give him a title match against him? That doesn't make very much sense. How about a best of two? Trent won their last match. Sorry, best of three. Trent won their last match. That's one. So how about LG has to win this one to earn his title match? And Trent just came out pretty much and just said, I don't want to work 2 nights. So how about when I beat you, that's it. You know, I have to defend my title. Even though it would have been that way anyways. Which obviously didn't work out that way for Trent. He lost the title. And as I said, that left more questions for the fans, which we'll answer when we talk about, we run through the Belfast show quickly a little bit. But overall, it was a very fun match. Not what I was expecting. I really thought it was going to be a quick, like, last minute thing. But very, very fun and a major pop to go into the intermission. But
what I will say about that match as well is I can definitely see it running into the stadium show in October. I can definitely see it running into the anniversary show.
I do believe
where they probably have a rematch at that.
I'm thinking that match itself, because like when we get into the Belfast thing and everything like that, that is definitely going to be planned. I have a feeling that's either going to be a best, like a 2 or 3 falls match or an Ironman match. I can really
give me an Ironman match.
That'd be sick. Imagine the countdown clock on the big screen, 2,000 people there, be savage. We'll get into it when we talk about the Belfast show, but I am very, very excited what the direction they're going to be going with that.
So we come back from intermission then, and we have the big tag team match. Kings of the North versus, oh look, it says it right there, Danny Cross and Mick Law.
It's Johnny Cross, but
shush about you.
we just call him J Cross now.
I'm good with that. J Cross.
Danny Cross it
J
is.
Cross.
Carmo, because
Danny J.
Carmo, because I know you definitely had your eyes on this match, I'll let you go with this one.
I most definitely did have my eyes in this match, and I can't actually remember how the match started, but that's absolutely fine because Jay ended up getting tagged in, and he got absolutely battered by Kings of the North. Absolutely battered. I tell you, Bonesaw is a man you definitely don't want to be in the ring with, and Duncan Disorderly is also a man that you really, really do not want to be in the ring with. Duncan Disorderly did not let up once during that entire match. He kept going from and going from. Bonesaw seemed to have a bit of a heart. He kind of like let him go once or twice, but like Duncan Disorderly, whoa. Be Cool obviously got tagged in. Bit of shenanigans there. He kind of somehow slipped his way to kind of beating up the lads. Kings of the North obviously turned it back around. And then a bit of shenanigans at the end of the match where Be Cool might have grabbed the title and maybe hit somebody and so on and so forth. But of course, we have our new tag team champions in Danny Cross and Danny Cross. But Be Coolish. But yeah, genuinely, I thought it was a really good match. It kind of horned back to their original match at the Belfast show. I think it was the 7th anniversary in Belfast where they originally won the tag titles off the Kings of the North. Where in that match, it was kind of like Be Cool won the tag team titles. Be Cool took most of the damage throughout the match. Jay picked up the victory. Whereas in the show in Dublin, Jay picked up most of the damage. Be Cool picked up the victory, but it's Jay's tag team titles versus B tag team title. So I really enjoyed that kind of over and back and kind of that rewind to that old match. But yeah, again, delighted for the two boys to be tag team champions, and especially for Danny Cross as well.
Big congratulations to Mr. Danny Cross, the first ever person to hold 3 OTT titles at once. 3 belts, Danny. Give it up to him. Like, well done, Danny. Well done. Didn't even need Barry. Didn't even need Barry.
You have to congratulate him. Well, yeah, you have to congratulate him.
So, like, you got to think of, like, the draw are such a massive thing. We got the first ever Grand Slam champion, Sammy D, the first ever person to hold 3 titles at one time in Danny Cross. Like, the draw is just, they are what they say they are. They're on top.
You always have to ask yourself though, why did Sammy D get Be Cool to replace him? Where are Adam and Charlie during that time? You know?
This
Why
is
did Be
I
Cool
don't
why did
question
Be
that at
Cool
all.
trust? Why did Be Cool trust Be or why did Sammy D trust Be Cool over the two boys? Is it because the two boys lost the tag team championships to the Kings of the North?
I think it was
They
more
were
of
unable
Charlie
to
was
hold it?
booked and couldn't be there, and Adam is wherever Adam is.
I
And
get that,
last
I get
resort,
that.
you got. I'd say what it was just he looked backstage and there's Barry. I know Barry. Do you know what the guy? He's down on his luck. He's not doing much now at the moment.
after he
We'll give
got
him a
him kicked out
chance.
of the company. Like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't remember that ever
Exactly.
happening.
You
And
know, and then
we'll give him a chance.
his own team end up dropping the tag team titles, and he has to go back to an original partner that Sammy D had in the gymnastics, Mr. B. Cool. And what does he do? He wins the tag team
Or
championships.
maybe he just thought these guys have won titles before. They'll win the titles again, which they did. So again, Sammy D is the leader of the draw. Big brain Sam.
shows a bit of
Something's going
naivety
on.
on Sammy's part, though. Sammy's been smart and
Uh,
calculated for the last 18 months. Why would he go and do something like that?
Shut your mouth, you.
I'm telling you, they're going to
Something's
turn on
going on.
Sammy.
Shut your
Something's
mouth,
going
you.
on.
Sammy's
I'll
going
get
to
into
turn
that
on.
part in the main event.
Moving on, anyways, to the OTT Championship main event, the Scrapper Mania rematch. Sammy D versus O'Mari. And Scrapper Mania, we had a fight, we had a match. Here, we had a fucking war. They beat the shit out of each other. Emmet.
So, we had a little bit of a debate about this in our group chat, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
So, we were all seriously hyped for this match. And I do think, firmly now, I'm about 48 hours removed from finally getting to watch it. I really think this is one of those matches in person would have been like a 5 out of 5 star match. On demand, it didn't meet the hype of the National Stadium show, but I think there is bias in our parts by that because like that match live at Scrapper was amazing. Watching it back, I think we still have the secondhand jitters from watching it live. So I don't know if it's a fair comparison. Like Martin said, this was an absolute fucking war between lads. My particular favorite spot is like when Omari's outside the ring and like Sammy like claws onto his back and he like has him on a hold. And then like I might have to pace this a bit wrong. But seeing Sammy D do a suicide dive, not once but twice, was sick. That was absolutely unreal. My only thing with this coming out of it, was it a bad match? Not at all. I thought it was good. I don't think it matched the Scrapper one, but that's a very high threshold to meet as well, to be fair. That match at Scrapper was way better than any of us thought it was actually going to be from the get-go. We were really excited for the first match anyway. This, I think, had a little bit of unfair pressure on it because, smaller arena, everything like that. Do you know what I mean? You can, like, not that you're going to do so much, but I think, when you have a capacity crowd of the size you had in National Stadium, it really adds to it too. There was a big fight feel to this. I don't think this is the last chapter in the Omari Sammy D. I think there's another match to go before we get to the anniversary show. Maybe it could be later. I don't know. Like they tease it after the show with J Money and everything like that. A bit of a screwy finish and everything like this. And yeah, I don't think the final chapter is written on Omari and Sammy D. Where they go from here, I don't know. There seems to be a little few roadblocks between now and then when we get to that point again. I am excited to see where we get from. I'm loving Omari's new kind of like personality and stuff as well. Coming out to the Busta Rhymes song. Look, I love him having the longer kind of hair and stuff like that as well. Him being a little bit British with the crowd. Brilliant.
I don't know if this was kept on demand. You guys can tell me because you've watched it. But when he came out to no music and stuff like that, because the obviously the audio had messed up, was hilarious. Like everyone, like when he came out, I don't know if it's picked up on the camera, just so I'm going, hey, no music, woohoo! Came on the music, eventually music came back on. I don't think they did it, but Jay Money was like, let's go do it again. We'll come back out. That was absolutely brilliant. Carmo, I'll throw it to you to give your opinions on the match.
One thing I will say starting off, at the start of the match, obviously, Scotty Davis and Jay Money got up on the ring apron Sammy D has one of the most beautiful super kicks you'll ever see
Yep.
in professional wrestling. Like everyone will talk about Shawn Michaels, the Young Bucks. Sammy D is up there for me, if not number one. Like that super kick he hit on, it's got it beautiful. Match itself, it's kind of going back on Emmett's point. I think if you were there, it's a fantastic match. On the watching it on demand, it lacked a little bit. It was still a great match. Don't get me wrong, but I suppose you're comparing it against the Scarpamania match, and the Scarpamania match was probably one of the best matches that we've all seen live in terms of Irish wrestling, if not even just live. So I think comparing that is kind of a bit different, but overall the match itself pretty good. I'm going to pass it back to you, Martin, because we'll get into the finish of it and stuff like that.
So I really thought, so just for the finish of it, I really thought that they were going to do it. I thought the belt was going on O'Malley again. When Scotty came out and took down Sam, I really thought it was it. Obviously then, I think Charlie was the first to come out, I think, was he? Or was it Barry?
It was Charlie and Jay, I believe. They came in to stop Scotty.
And they got rid of Scotty. And then obviously Barry came along. Be cool, be cool, goes to his coming to the ring spot, falls and taps Foxy, where you don't want to be tapped. That then leads to I can't actually remember the finish. Was he hit? He wasn't hit with the belt, was he, O'Malley?
No, he got hit with a kind of like scissors kick into I believe a super kick or a pile driver.
That was it. So I was there thinking, like, I swear at some point he was hit with the belt, but it might be the other. I think I might be thinking of Scotty, if Scotty hit with the belt or was it with the chain. But Sam got the win. Bit of hug and celebration with Be Cool. There was definitely some tension, I won't lie, between the ranks of Charlie Sterling and stuff like that. But look, all's good with the draw. You got what, 4 belts, 4 OTT belts in the draw. Pfft, happy fucking days. You don't need to worry about Be Cool.
You say the draw is all happy and everything like that. What I found interesting about this match, and I'm as big of a draw fan as anybody out there, and everybody will be aware of this, but during the show, it was made very evident by Sammy D to Charlie Sterling that he did not want him out there, that the draw have changed, they don't run the same way, doesn't need their help, he can do it on his own. If he gets cheated out of a win, he can accept it, but he's going to try and do it on his own. Charlie comes out, and Sammy tells him to leave. Be Cool comes out. Sammy says nothing. Sammy says absolutely nothing about Be Cool being out in that ring.
Yeah.
The first person that Sammy goes to after he gets the 3 count is Be Cool. Charlie Sterling kind of recognizes this and seems to walk away as if to go, "Ooh, you didn't want me out here, but you accept Be Cool." So I don't think everything's fully right within the draw at the moment. It seems to be a bit of a thing between Barry and Sammy that's not kind of clicking with Jay and Charlie and probably Adam as well on top of that. So I think it's pretty interesting kind of scenario that we're hitting into.
Do you know what your points after making me think there? And I don't know how none of us thought of this before. The match that's going to happen at the anniversary show is going to be the Reformed Gymnasties challenging for the tag titles off of 2 members of the draw. Sammy D is going to lose the belt between now and the anniversary show. Now he'll get Chase and win it back, but the draw will cost him the belt. I'm adamant that he's getting excommunicated from the draw. But now that you mentioned that, because he didn't say anything about Be Cool coming out, about Barry coming out, he didn't give out once. So there's obviously, there's tension building there and everything like this. And, we've got a few shows to now in WrestleRama. WrestleRama, Sammy's going to get screwed outside. Who takes the title off him, I don't know, even though I kind of gave my kind of 2 cents about that a little bit. We'll get onto it again in a bit. But, do you know what I mean? I can easily see that. Maybe he does carry the belt and they still do that anyway. I can fully see a Gymnasties reunion now for maybe, if not for the anniversary show, at some point before the end of the year. Gymnasties versus.
I can see an Adam Maxted return and then a bit of a descent between Jay, Charlie, and Adam versus Sammy and Be Cool. Now, that'd lead to a 3-on-2 if there was any by chance of Justy returning and making the gymnastics whole again. I'm not against it. I absolutely love the draw. I still think the draw is in its kind of early years. I think it can do a lot more in OTT. I don't really want to see him split up, but judging on what happened at the end of the O'Mara match, it seems to be leading that way.
And you know what's the worst part about it? And like we've talked about this, maybe not as much on the show. I think if, let's say, with that weekend for Scrapper, right, Sammy was getting cheered at Max the face. I think the big mistake in all this so far, which for me anyway has stagnated the draw a little bit, as much as I love the draw, is Sammy being a face. Sammy being a cold-hearted prick heel. Even if you left him as a tweener, do you know what I mean? But this out-and-out babyface stuff with Sammy, I'm not really a fan of it. Nothing to do with like Sammy in the ring. I'm a massive Sammy Z fan and everything else, and I've loved his work since Scrapper. But character motivation wise, how the fuck do you go from the Wolverhampton match with Trent Seven to being a clean cut babyface with no motivation between now and then? You know what I mean? You don't just like there was a little bit of underhanded carry on between O'Mara and Sammy in that like first title match. It's I don't know, like for me, there needed to be more motivation for Sammy to be justified as being a clean cut heel, not just I'm the world champion, now I'm a good guy. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, you could bring that sneaky edge back to him, but then at the Belfast show, something said towards the end of the Belfast show from Sammy to someone else that doubles down as with him being a clean cut babyface. I don't know. The story needs to amp up a bit. There needs to be a little bit of complexity added for me anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just
I'm going to throw one more little thing in there, and this is kind of just something I've thought about. So I mentioned there a while ago about Sammy bringing in B Cool to win back the tag team championships because maybe he didn't trust Adam and Charlie. Whatever. What if there's a chance that Sammy is using Barry because he knows of Barry's abilities to get back these titles, to get where he wants to be throughout the year, and then he turns on Barry, and the draw stays together?
That happens, I'm happy. That's what I'd love to see. Because Barry's
this could happen. So it could lead to a Barry Sammy match for the OTT title at a show down the year, but this could also happen. So for me, they're the two scenarios that are possibly leading up.
I would hope it's the latter. Personally, I would hope it's the latter, rather than having these turns happen. Because for me, the only way to keep the draw kind of strong and relevant, if you're going to have Sammy be babyface, is to let Sammy do his own thing and keep the draw as a faction, but it needs a new leader, and that leader would have to be Danny Cross. I think anyway, because that's what's going to push Danny up at stage, is him becoming the leader of the draw. But it really depends on what they do over the next 60 days. Between now and WrestleRama is really going to show the longevity of the draw now going forward. Because if they keep this clean cut babyface crack, I don't know. We'll still love him and appreciate him, of course. But storyline wise, I think it would start to stagnate very, very quick.
Yeah, it's an interesting couple of months for me for the draw, for Be Cool, for everybody.
We could have done an episode.
Oh, sorry, guys. I was actually sorry. I didn't actually hear a thing that you guys said. I was reading Ty Clodd's early morning quotes. I'm sure it's all great things about the draw, anyways. You know.
Did Galacini kick you off again? Is that what happened?
Who? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyways, so I assume we're done with that. Anyways, again, the draw. Well done to the boys. All good in the draw. We move on to Belfast now. I will say, if Martin did show it out for all that, if people do want to hear me and Emmet go through storylines like that for a future episode or any time at all, even if it's just for bonus content, do let us know.
I'd be all for it, 110%. It's our group chat. It's what we do.
Now, due to time restraints and stuff like that, we'll have to fly through the Belfast show. Like, we'll have to fly through it. So, I'm trying to think. So, we kicked off the show with BDE versus Los Mapadores. Again, this was kind of a quick match, but also very entertaining. Again, the toilet paper main appearance. Obviously, with everything that happened, a wrapped up Fabulous Nikki, who oh my god, like they really sold that really. It was a very funny match. Like I loved it as well when Josh tagged him in and then tapped on the back. He's like, you fuck.
Yeah, it was very, very well done. No, it's very, very well done. And Los Mapadores again, a fantastic tag team. El Benny Mono especially, he's just man, he's so good.
Do you know, he's almost as good as Martin Sears. For this pair, they're almost as good as the Freshness. But you know, I wish we got to see that match. I really do. Imagine how good that match would be.
I wouldn't really say they're similar. I would say they're kind of
No, there's
completely different
differences.
wrestlers,
There's
maybe.
you can see the differences, but like what I'm trying to say is they're almost as good as them, but they're not. If you know what I mean. But I'd love to see the two teams clash. Maybe, hey, we could do it at Hard Knocks. You know, the Freshnells are still down in Hard Knocks, so we could do it there. But
They wear the same tights, just with masks. So definitely get their gear from the same place anyway.
no, probably.
No. Barton Steele's back of his site says Ballymun. Back of El Ballymono is El Ballymono. Two completely different things.
Damn it. At 1-0.
See, you gotta pay attention to these things, Emmett.
Yeah.
So
You're too busy with the storylines.
I'm too busy with the storylines. So, but that was a very fun match. Then after that this is the match now I was actually really looking forward to on this whole show. I know we've got a few absolute bangers, but this 5-way for the GN Championship, mainly because I have two people in there three people that I fucking love to watch in the ring. Renzo, Sam, Danny Cross, which by the way, whoever made the Belfast card, why the fuck does that say J? Danny Cross, Boots Murphy, Corey Zero.
Yeah, his name is Jay, but okay.
Shut the fuck up, Carmo.
J Cross. We've been through this.
Yeah, it's Danny J.
So, obviously, we kicked off the match with Danny saying that someone has robbed the belt. And I don't know why, but when he said that, I went, it's in the fucking bag, isn't it? I think...
Do you know what? Even though I watched it back, I actually thought it was you, but I thought you somehow robbed it.
I told him I was going to, but he kind of pulled me back and was like, look, I can let you borrow it after tomorrow, but, I need it. So, we're working it out. The only time I'm not going to borrow a belt is when you take those titles off of Rob Gold. So...
Yeah, soon.
But, Carmo, what you think of that 5-way?
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. To see Boots, I know Boots has been kind of a regular at the Belfast shows. Obviously, Sam, Renzo, Danny Cross, Jay, Corey Zero, 5 fantastic competitors, and all with the GN title match. It's really good to see that in the GN title match as well. It gives it a different kind of element to all other titles because you can have that kind of mix in talent and stuff like that. We obviously saw Charlie Sterling get involved. Obviously Jay is happy enough for Charlie to get involved, but Sammy isn't. But and obviously Jay picked up the victory for the titles, or Danny J as we now call him. Picked up the victory and is still the GN champion. But a great match overall.
I feel like we didn't get to see too much of the Sam. Obviously, Renzo kind of kept him away from everything, and whenever he actually got involved, Renzo would come in and just throw him out. So, I'd like to see Semzo kind of go away. I feel like we're not getting to see enough of Sam in the ring. Boots, always great to see Big Boots Murphy in the ring. We need more Big Boots Murphy in OTT. We really do.
Fact.
And then Corey Zero, I feel like, all right, if I'm picking someone to take the GN title from Danny Cross, Corey Zero. That's who I think. Go on.
I can see it. I can definitely see it. There's probably a few people on that list. Renzo is another one I think will be a good one. Boots is another one that'd be a pretty good one. But yeah, I wouldn't be overly upset if Corey Zero picked it up.
Perfect. See, look, we can agree sometimes. Shut up, Emmet. Don't you wave that finger at me.
I'm just going to say really quickly, I fully agree. I don't think she should be the one to take him, to be the person to take it off him yet. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no, well, he's going to hold it for ages.
No.
But if he was to lose it, let's say, and have let's say he was like the main GN champion for like the next 12 months and lost it here and there in between, I wouldn't want her to be the first to take it. She's a fantastic talent and she's going to be breakout star in OTT in the next 12 months, 100%. But there are a lot of lads who've been coming up the card over the last 12 to 18 months. And I think that spotlight should go on them a little bit first to kind of put the graft in on screen, if you get me, you know what I mean?
Now,
Colin Kelly is actually one of those kind of people, to be honest. He's a very good contender for that title.
And they tease it.
And speaking of the Mad Dog. An impromptu match with him and Corvin. Carmo, this is where we're going to let you take a lot of it here.
You know what? Khan actually put in a really, really great performance against Corvin. I think he did a lot better than what most people thought he would be. I think in a lot of like the last couple of months and stuff like that, we've seen a lot of squash matches with Con Kelly and an opponent, for an example. But he really kind of got a lot of offense over Corvin. Corvin did obviously pick up the win in a really tough battle. I suppose probably still hurting after his match against Damo the previous night, but a really, really good battle. Really good battle. Impressive performance by two men.
And then even calling him back afterwards.
He did actually. He did call him back. It was kind of like the Jeff Hardy Undertaker kind of thing from O2. Called him back and did show that little bit of respect as well, which is really, really good. Really, really
It's good to see Con Kelly actually getting to step out in his own now. Obviously, we've seen Kelly August Lynch, we've seen CBL, Kelly August Lynch, and now we're just... There is a bit of a mix between him and Boots, which I'm all for, but it is good to also see him get to step out on his own.
Absolutely.
This one, I know when he watches it, he's gonna fucking love it. Scotty Davis, Leighton Buzzard.
Yeah, it's probably a 5-star match easily. It's probably even as far as a 6 or 7-star match, to be honest. Scotty is unbelievable. So freaking good. So freaking good. And when you put him in there against a talent like Leighton Buzzard, who could do pretty much everything that Scotty can do and nearly up a level, you're going to just come off with an excellent match overall anyway. I believe it was Leighton that picked up the victory in that match. If I'm not mistaken. No, it was Scotty, sorry. It was Scotty. I was thinking of a different one. But yeah, great performance by the two of them. Obviously, it got announced, I believe, the night before that Leighton is heading to Japan. So it's sad to see him kind of going. It's probably going to be his last match in OTT for a while, but what a way to head out against Scotty Davis. Great way to head out.
Next, which I think would have been a tag match if not for the previous... tag title match if not for the previous night. Kings of the North versus my boys, the Social Elite. Carmo, tell us about that one.
Always great to see the Social Elite in action as well. Matthew Brother Smith, one of the... I think... I would actually go as far as saying an underrated talent of today's wrestling people, I suppose. That's the wrong way to put it, but anyway. And obviously Max McGuinness, who's like one of the most, I suppose, well-respected wrestlers or best wrestlers in the world. And then obviously Kings of the North coming off a big loss for the tag team titles. Obviously he had to come out and get a bit of revenge and picked up the victory in that one, I believe. I'm forgetting all the wins and losses here.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Kings of the North picking up a good victory in that one. Great match as well. I'd like to see more of the Social Elite in around that kind of tag division as well. Kings of the North, which we'll obviously get into in a minute or two here. But yeah, it's good to see Social Elite back around again.
No, it is. And I've said this for a while. I really want the lads to get themselves a shot at the tag titles at some point. It's well documented. I know there's a few tag teams I mark over, but like the Social Elite since day one, and Carmo can testify. Since day one of seeing them, I've been a huge fan of theirs. I do miss seeing Paul Tracy with them. I feel like it's missing that bit of element, but I think even without Paul there, the boys have stepped it up a bit, even more. So one day we'll get that OTT tag title match. I feel like I believe they did a promo afterwards saying that they should be next in line. So who knows? You know, it could be happening sooner rather than later.
It'll be great to see. Yeah, it will be great to see.
Would you rather they take the titles off of the draw?
I mean, technically the draw don't have them at the moment. It's kind of 50% the draw. It's Be Cool and the draw, should I say?
Also, it was the Social Elite defeated the Kings of the North.
That's correct. I thought it was actually, and then they cut the promo afterwards saying that they should be next in line. And I agree with them.
They just beat the former tag champs. The guys that technically have the no contender spot, they beat them.
Yeah. Should be next in line, 100%.
So, the next match now, we were talking about this one. after LJ won the title, there was not supposed to be a rematch, but obviously with all that happened, Trent begged. He asked him, we're doing this one more night. LJ was kind of like, well, I thought you said. I said nothing. Look, the rematch, obviously, a very disappointing ending, disheartening ending. Carmo.
Funnily enough, I actually thought the match was better than the Dublin match. For me, the match was slightly more better. It was also like a slightly bit more like quicker pace than the Dublin match for me, so it also kind of made it a little bit better. But yeah, when I initially found out the result of Trent obviously going over and retaking the title, I was a little bit surprised. But having watched it and I suppose kind of thinking about what they could do in the future with Trent having the title versus LJ, it kind of makes sense. And as we said earlier about possibly doing the stadium show between the two for the NLW title and stuff like that, looks to be pretty good. It seems like with the Italian show that they announced for November, it's going to be, judging by posters, this is all we can really go off, but it looks like it's going to be Renzo versus Trent for the NLW title. Now that could change. It could be Renzo versus someone else if Trent does drop the NLW title between now and then. But yeah, it does look like it's going to be that way. But yeah, it made sense. Trent is also defending it all over the world. So yeah.
Sorry as well. I knew I forgot something, and I'm only just fucking realizing it now. The very beginning of the show, a big debut. The Saviors arrived in OTT.
The Saviors. Great to see him. Really.
Redeal, Andy Steele, Owen Richards. Oh my god. I was like, so obviously they put up the photo, I think, an hour or two after, and I was like, for fuck's sake, the one, like, when I'm not there, they fucking debut. I've been waiting for them to debut so I can see the Saviors in OTT. It was a big fucking moment. And obviously coming out with the man himself, Mr. Ty Claude, trying to unmask Los Mopadores.
Should I say, Ty doesn't lie.
I hate that he does that LA night thing.
Yeah.
I knew that would wake you up.
A lot of people probably could argue that the Savior should have been an OTT a lot earlier, but I think it's I think it's kind of perfect timing, especially with the Los Mopadores thing going on. It's such a great tag team over from Mexico, as we've already said. It's a great time to put like one of the best tag teams in Ireland versus one of the best tag teams in Mexico up against each other. It should be really good.
And then the main event, the one we found out, Sammy D, big friggin' demo. Now this is where you get to talk as well, Emmet, because I know you haven't seen the match, but you'll get to.
No, I have. I watched the match.
Did you? Fuck it, perfect. Go ahead.
So yeah, I thought this was a pretty good match and was pretty well paced. Now, the finish, I wasn't 100% happy with. The actual match itself, I thought was pretty good. It wasn't one I thought that was actually going to happen. I, for whatever reason, thought do you remember when they put up the original brackets for what could be happening in Belfast, and there was like 4 different options. I, for whatever reason, just assumed that this Corvin thing, I don't know why, I assumed that this would be like a 2-show thing, or 2 or 3 show thing, that he'd mentioned he wants to go for the title, have the match in Dublin, have a losing title effort in Belfast, and then maybe something to springboard off of that. I wasn't expecting the demo match to actually happen. I was surprised with that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and you know something? It actually surpassed my expectations because I didn't know how Damo and Sammy would actually gel. It was actually pretty good for the time they had, like, you know what I mean? And we'll obviously touch on it in a minute or so, but the finish, the actual finish itself, I wasn't like 100% happy with, but the end results at the very, very end of the show, I was very, very happy with, because for the first time really since Scrapper, for myself anyway, it feels like we have a good, complex storyline direction with the main event scene, which is great. And that's not to dismiss anything that's happened between now and Scrapper. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the road to the top and tag team show and everything like this. But really now it's kind of like the draw shows seem to be the first since Scrapper where real storylines are starting to shape and take place. And I'm just a little bit sickened that it's taken us 4 months in Scrapper to get there. I'm happy to be there. Do you know that kind of?
They did have one obviously with LJ and Renzo, but with Semzo and stuff like that, that's kind of kind of been pushed under the rug. Carmo, what you think of the match?
I'm going to actually go back to a bit of Emmett's point there as well, and I'm going to let you talk about the match. We'll obviously talk about the finish and stuff like that in a minute. You go back to Emmett's point there, where kind of like the first proper show since like Scrapper, where kind of storylines and stuff like that are really coming into it. I think if you look at the road to the top show with all the kind of negativity that it faced, even though we were all there, we thought it was actually a pretty good show. With all the negativity that faced, I think it had to be some sort of turnaround. And obviously with the tag team show obviously being already announced, you can't really walk away from it. You have to still do it. But it seems like the draw show was already planned and everything like that. So I think it all kind of linked into one, but I think they had to do something of a big kind of magnitude to make it such an excellent show. But and it was as well. It was as well. But speaking of that main event, I agree with everything that Emma kind of said. It was a great match for what it was. Obviously the ending kind of like, but the Corbin thing was quite interesting as well. But if one of you want to explain the ending, I'm happy to let you.
No, you work away with it.
No, go one of you.
So
I've basically explained the entire Belfast card. So one of you go.
There.
So yeah, pretty much during the match, Corbin came out, and I think did he first attack Damo, or was it Sam? No, I think he oh god, I'm butchering this now. He came out anyways and picked up the belt and hit Damo. Then he took that, like everyone's just like, oh my god, what is going on? And then bam, hit Sam as well. Obviously, to your point earlier on, this is obviously the self-doubt, possibly in the mind, getting to him. One thing I noticed as well is there is that bit of maybe anger as well. So he's holding this belt up. I was, just like as if I was so close to this, and I fumbled. I don't know. I kind of liked it before the show even started. I was kind of thinking, like, how are they going to do this? How, are you going to, like, is Sam, like, Sam, to me, had to keep the belt. So I was like, how are they going to do this? I feel like it was the right choice. Not what I expected at all. I did expect this to happen at Dublin. Obviously, it didn't. So I was like, well, I guess this isn't happening. But for it to happen in Belfast was shocking. Emmet, go on.
I was just going to say there, it always makes more sense for anything Kings of North related to happen in Belfast. Dropping titles, all that sort of stuff makes sense in Dublin. But if you're doing a turn, or if they're winning them to a big match or titles or anything like that, Belfast is your place.
Emmet?
I was actually just going about to say the same thing. It did make more sense to kind of do the turn in Belfast, considering, hometown crowd and everything like this. They want to cheer for him and everything like this. I was actually I was delighted watching this match back, because I specifically went back knowing I wouldn't get to watch the whole card before this recording, to watch that match, see how the crowd reacted, knowing what the finish was and knowing how the show ended. And I must say, my hat goes off to the crowd in Belfast for not hijacking it and cheering it when Corbin was to turn, because it would have been very easy for him to do that and ruin the moment, and they didn't. Now, in fairness to him, there was genuine shock in the crowd. It really added to it. And what's really, really nice, and if Angus or anyone on commentary mentions this at the next show, is I'm going to sue him. But there was a definite silence of shock after the Corbin turn. You could audibly hear everything that was going on in the ring, like when Bonesaw was talking to Corbin and vice versa, and all this type of stuff, and Sammy turning to Damo after, and like, I hated this line. I love Sammy D. I adore Sammy D. When they fist bumped, they're like, not the last time Sammy and Damo on Belfast. Not the last time. And he stormed off. I just, he didn't. Nothing needs to be said. Nothing needs to be said. But that was what I loved about it, was that deafening silence, which is it's a reflection of genuine shock, because the crowd did not know what to do in that moment. And what was great is you could actually hear the individual members of Kings of the North conversing at the end of the show, and the show ended in silence, which was brilliant. And it's a master stroke, whether intentional or not. I think the crowd was a big aspect of that, by being genuinely in shock. And I am beyond excited to see where they go from this. And again, I just hope and I pray this is not a 2-show thing. I hope this isn't I hope the next 2 shows coming up in August build this. Have Damo and Corvin have their singles match. Have it be a count out to lead to the triple threat match, but have it be a fucking jawbreaker of a house fight. Like, we got this exactly, like, because, like, honestly, because, like, do you remember, like, the Dublin show? That was great. Pipe up the aggression, no, like, no holding back and everything like this. Corvin with the insecurities, Damo with the motivation. Let them beat the shit out of each other. Double count out finish. Then you get your triple threat at WrestleMania. Let there be a build to it, like, and I just cannot wait. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with Corvin after it. Like, I'd only be, what's the word for it? I'd only be kind of like theorizing now if I was trying to guess anymore. I don't know. I would love to see Corvin get a title run at the end of this, whether it's with the world title or not. But, like, I'm very, very excited. He looked $1,000,000 at the end of that show. He looked way more solidified than he had in the few shows going up to it, I should say.
Cool.
The thing that I find interesting on the back of the Belfast show, and it kind of leads into the Dublin show as well, is you have Sammy and Damo, which did not happen. Damo's obviously going to want to look for revenge. You have Corvin interrupting the match. It's obviously going to be Damo looking for revenge. I don't think Sammy will really care about Corvin getting involved. You also have Bonesaw, Duncan Disorderly, who are kind of like, okay, what happened here? You also have the whole situation between Danny Cross, Be Cool, Charlie Sterling, Max did. So you now have a draw, Kings of the North, and they're all colliding with each other. But not only are they colliding as in Kings of the North versus draw, it's Kings of the North versus Kings of the North, draw versus draw. So, like, your two big factions. One, Kings of the North have obviously been there since the beginning of OTT. And now you have your draw. You're one of the most dominated factions over the last 2 years. And it's all imploding. It's all imploding. And that contains a world champion, a GM champion, and tag champions. Where's it going to go? What is going to happen? And this is probably the one time in OTT that I've been kind of like, wow, what's going on here? And in between the two teams, you also have Omari, you've Scotty Davis, and a couple of more to go along with it. It's really the one time where, and look, we said it there a while ago about Be Cool doing this and Draw doing this and maybe Damo doing this and whatever else. But you really don't know where it's going to go or what's going to happen, who's going to fight who's going to be in a title match, who's going to be in the tag title match. It's really, really open. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Oh, for you. That's a great fucking take, isn't it? Do you have the dog with you, by the way, or do you just keep moving your hand? Because they keep saying something, and I'm like, that man is got a ghost in his room.
What, this?
That's it. I'm like, what the hell is that? I thought it was like a shadow on the wall. It's like, that man's got a ghost in his room. He's dying tonight.
No, do you know what it was? It's really weird. I have this thing. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this. Maybe it was more prevalent actually in audio episodes earlier on, but I'm always playing with something in my hands when we record. And what I've been doing the whole time is I've actually been doing oh my god, what's the name of it? Do you know the what's that move that Shinsuke Nakamura does? Where he has someone like kind of like this and then drives him between his legs like that head first. It's like a tiger driver, but they land on the back.
I can't remember.
Is it not a Falcon Arrow, no?
No, Falcon Arrow's suplex, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Up, and then kind of like you turn.
Like I'd say have their head there.
Oh yeah. So that's a Falcon Arrow.
Well, that's what I've been doing with my phone throughout the whole time.
Now I know I asked, and we got some answers for people to give thoughts on, to give like questions for us to give thoughts on the show. We're coming up to an hour 40, so we're just gonna go right into Hard Knocks because it is nearly 11 p.m. at night, and I have people waiting to fucking do their thing. So we're gonna go straight into Hard Knocks now. Before we do that, OTT the draw. What would you give it out of 10? Both nights combined. Carmo, we'll go to you.
I would probably go. I'd probably go about an 8.5.
Okay.
I think certain matches could have been better, but in saying that, there was a lot of really, really good matches, and from story points of view, there was a lot of kind of moving forward in both shows. So I'll give it about an 8.5.
Perfect. Emmet.
I'm going to go for a safe 7. I try and keep 8 and above for like the real top tier type of stuff, especially now. I've been watching back a load of older OTT shows at the moment, and like especially like kind of mid to late 2019 shows were stacked the whole time. That was a brilliant card both nights. I do think the cards after are going to be better. In ring wise, these were perfect shows. The storyline aspects bring it down a small bit for me, but like we talked throughout this episode, that's going to improve upon over the next few shows. Come back to me at WrestleRama when we have like concrete storylines in place, and I'll probably be a lot more happier coming out of the show with this quality in ring wise.
I honestly got. I probably agree with Carmo. 8.5. Yeah, especially being there, being involved. Again, as you said, there's a lot of things that I was kind of like, I could do without. But look, it was. I think it was definitely one of the best shows since Scrapper. Again, from my own point of view, the two other shows were not bad. They were not terrible. They were good shows. But it was definitely the best of the three so far. Well, not three, sorry, the four so far. But yeah, right, moving on to obviously July 30th, Dolan's Warehouse, Hard Knocks, Hard Luck. We'll kick this off with what we talked about earlier on with Terry Thatcher. Obviously, with his match in Dublin, he's reportedly injured, and he has been stripped of the Hard Knocks World Championship. Just very quickly, I want to get your guys' thoughts on. Obviously, the run's over. Great, amazing, in my opinion, first run as Hard Knocks World Champion. Carmo, I'll let you start off and get just what you thought of Terry's whole run.
Yeah, so like Terry obviously had a couple of matches. He had the match against Sam where he initially won the title, a great match. He had the match against Danny Cross, where great match as well. And I think the match that really kind of proved that he was on such a good run was the match against Butch, because it was such a hard hitting match, and it really kind of showed the two of them of what they can really do in a match. I'm sad that he's dropping the title. It's obviously leads to a bit of excitement of who's going to be the new champion and everything like this. But I would have loved to have seen him drop the title. I think it would have been a lot more deserving of Terry's run if he could have actually dropped the title. Yeah. But it'll be interesting. He will be back. He will go for that title again. So we can look forward to that in the future.
Emmet.
It's disappointing. Obviously, like his run was fantastic. How many, like the win and 2 defenses or 3?
2 defenses.
2 defenses, yeah. Do you know, like I'm pretty adamant that Butch Armstrong's going to walk out of the show with the world title. I would not be surprised, depending on the severity of Terry's injury. First anniversary show for Hard Knocks is coming up in November. Terry is still in possession of the old world title. We have a new world title going to be debuted at this new show. I can see maybe between now and then, because it's such a stretch, unless they do a show maybe in September, that we could see a face-to-face with both. Maybe that's the end of the first anniversary show. Terry comes back holding his belt. I never lost this. What's that replica belt you have in your hands? And we'll probably get a Butch Terry rematch down the line. But like going off of Carmo's point and everything else, I would have loved to have seen him drop the belt to someone, because it would have meant a lot more. Do you know what I mean? And as well, the new title belt looks absolutely phenomenal. And Terry should have been able to hold that.
Beautiful belt. Again, I really was enjoying Terry Thatcher's run as the inaugural Hard Knocks World Champion. Like Lad's saying, it sucks it comes to an end like this. He's had 3 amazing matches with Sam, with Danny Cross, and the last one with Butch really fucking put the two of them at a higher pedestal, I feel like, in Hard Knocks. As you said, the new title, if you haven't seen it, is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. But yeah, Butch Armstrong versus Renzo, the triple threat match, is now a singles match to crown the new champion. As you said, I'm going Butch Armstrong with that. I cannot see Renzo getting the win over Butch, especially the Butch Armstrong we know we're going to see after Undisputed, where he went to war with Terry Thatcher. So, Carmel, who do you got for that one?
I'm kind of agreeing with you on Butch. I do see Butch kind of picking up the victory, but I'm actually going to shout Renzo. You never know what Renzo's got up his sleeve. So I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as just Renzo and Butch. So I think Renzo does have something up his sleeve, and I think he might take that title.
Okay, that's fair enough. It's just got to be different all the time, but okay. So the next match we have coming up, speaking of brand new titles, the tag team titles, the Hard Knocks tag team titles, the socially, the freshness. Now, as I said this to Carmo earlier on, I feel like it's a weird choice. You're going to crown your first tag champs, but Socially, like, I'm not going against my boys.
Sense.
What's
And
with
you know what the
what's
thing
with the
about
smile, you, huh? What's with the smile?
I was saying this to a friend of ours, a friend of the podcast, but I'm just going to say this outright. The social elite as heel tag champs in Limerick City for a long run. It writes itself. That is money printing crack there. We know the Hard Knox crowd inside out. We know the Limerick crowd inside and out. Could you imagine like Max or Guinness coming down to the ring and Matthew's accent? As soon as someone from Raheen or Gary Owen hears that fucking accent, man, those two boys are going to get booed out of the building. And I'm telling you now, when they pick up those straps and they stand in those corners, they'll be running up the ramp to get out of there because there will be beer glasses thrown into that ring. I am calling it now, and I cannot wait to see it. As a fan of the Social Elite, they are heat magnets. They do not know what is coming their way in Limerick City. The Limerick crowd is going to go all for it. I can't wait for the crowd of boos. And that's coming as a fan of the Social Elite. That is my most anticipated match of the night.
Not too bad. So yeah, why are you smiling, huh?
Me?
Yeah.
So I'm actually really kind of looking forward to this match. What I will say is it's great you're going to be to see the Fresh Lads back in action. Obviously we
So
haven't seen them
long.
in OTT
So it's a
since
tag
they got
tournament.
released. The Pharaoh, obviously, and Fabio, and obviously the Ballymore Monster and Martin Steers. We've seen him in Fight Factory as a separate team, but good to see him back as a team. But we're all on the same boat here. It's socially for the win.
Go back.
And I do agree with Emmet. They're. I don't think they're going to expect what's going to come with that crowd in Dolan's come July 30th.
No.
Especially since Maxter Guinness names the wrong place in the video. He called it Doolins.
Doolins, yeah.
Now,
Doolin is a bit muscular. That's all I'm saying.
now again, I gotta just because of time stuff, I gotta rush you guys on. BDE versus the Step Hermanos. BDE. Not a fuck. Like, who the fuck is gonna like BDE are gonna become the number one contenders? Like, I don't know why we're doing this match. Like, it's not like these two could fucking beat them. Goodbye, Galaccini. Fired.
Oh, come on now. Wake Tash Mountain for the win. Honest to God. Chicken Hut Tash for the win. Galaccini and himself, they're taking the win. It's happening. Let's move on before Martin shits the
You
bed.
didn't even give him a fucking chance to answer.
Because we're one of the same. We think the same. It's absolutely fine.
Get
the
that
same.
fucking stupid smile off your face.
I'll shave the mustache next time.
It has to be the Los Hermanos. You know, it has to be.
Fucking.
It has to be. It has to be the most legitimate man.
We should set Martin on a date with Chris Kirby. They can hate me together. Fuck yourself.
Mr. Galaccini.
Fuck
and
yourself.
come and get himself Axel Jarrett. He's not Alejandro anymore. He's Axel Jarrett. Yeah, of course they're going to be number one contenders. And yourself and Chris Kirby can go upstairs and have a pint and cry over the fact that the two boys are after winning the number one contender match against BDE.
You done? You're done now, yeah?
Yeah.
Next match, Francis Mercer versus CJ West. After the last show, I think Mercer is out for blood. So I do not see CJ getting this one. So I'll throw that one out to you, Carmo.
I think I personally, I think unless CJ has a couple of things up his sleeve, I think Mercer is really coming out for something at this show. This one for me can go either way. I know Mercer a little bit more, so I'm gonna shout for Mercer. But I can't see this kind of going either 50-50. Anything could really happen, but I'm gonna shout for Mercer.
Emmet?
I want it to be CJ West, but I do think it's going to be Mercer. I think Mercer is going to have a Scotty type of moment now with this where we're not going to expect it, and he'll pummel CJ unexpectedly, and we'll see this hyper-aggressive different side of him that we weren't expecting to see, and it'll be a bit of a shocker moment, and hopefully that uncomfortable silence, same as the end of the Belfast show for OTT, when Mercer just levels him. I'd love to see it as much as I adore CJ West, and I would love CJ West to win. This is Mercer's moment now. Like, that's what I think anyway.
No, perfect. Obviously then, speaking of number one contenders, this is it. The golden ticket final. Raven Creed, LJ Cleary. It's very hard to pick with here. I could really see it going either way. However, I do think Raven Creed has a bit more of fire, a bit more hunger in her to go for this one. So Raven Creed is my pick to win this.
Believe it or not, I'm actually going to join you on that. I do think it will be Raven Creed. We've seen LJ get a lot of big victories in the last couple of weeks and months in a lot of different promotions, but I think Raven might have that little something to get over.
Emmett?
I can tell you short and sweet exactly how this is going to go. That'll be
Okay.
the opening match. LJ is going to come out like he did the last show. Tends to be a good guy. He'll beat Raven Creed, shake hands. We'll totally forget about it as the card goes on. Butch, Renzo, they're going to have like a great back and forth. Butch will come out on top. Who's going to come out with their golden ticket at the end of the show? LJ Cleary, cash in there and then take the title off Butch Armstrong. End of the next Hard Knox show. LJ Cleary, Hard Knox World Heavyweight Champion. I'm calling it now.
Okay.
Would be interesting. Would be interesting.
Now
I would hope they would use it like that.
Now,
Like
as
you have
Yeah.
the bank thing there, essentially. Sorry, Mary, go on.
oh, sorry. Now, as well, we also have appearances. Mr. Robbie Mack will be making his debut. The Bull CBL will be there as well. Who knows? Maybe a couple of other faces as well. But now this one's out of our hands. This one's out of Hard Knox' hands. What happens, happens. Someone's gonna fucking die. It's unsanctioned, meaning whatever happens, Hard Knocks cannot be held responsible. Steve Savage is out to kill. Danny Cross with the new member of the draw his side, Hard Knocks, Mr. Magic Mike. How many coffins are we going to need that night, Carmel?
I think this might be the one match that I'm going to watch from the balcony because I do not think I want to be anywhere near the ring
No.
while this match is going on. I would expect 2 maybe body bags walking out of Dolan's with Mr. Danny Cross and probably Mikey in there as well because there's no way Mikey's getting away with this. Because there's going to be a very pissed off Steve Savage in Dolan's that night.
Emmett.
I actually can't call it. I know the draw is going to come out on top in some way, but I am expecting an unexpected debut alongside, like, to aid Steve towards the end of the match. Like, I think Steve's going to dominate it for quite a while, and then, you know, the 2-on-1 thing will come about. Half of me is expecting Sammy D to make an appearance, but he said outright he's not going to be here, so I don't think he actually is going to be there on the night. I don't know who to call, like I would call to be like the assistants, I should say, to Steve towards the end of the match to stop him from getting a bait. It's not going to be Terry. There is someone, though, I think it may be a debut. Someone is going to be coming out to help Steve at the end of that match. Maybe after the match is finished to stop him from getting, like, you know, properly beaten down by the draw. But I could not call it now who it would be. That's just my 2 cents. I do think we're due a debut. But who it's going to be, I have no idea.
I think Steve Savage is going to break the walls of Dolan's with the body of Danny Cross and Magic Mike. I think that's it. I think they're fucked. I would not want to be them. I'm going to be joining Carmo up at the top of the Dolan's because it's not going to be. It's not like he may grab one of us and just use us as a weapon. You know, so...
But stiff as a plank, you're just like, oh, I can't just swat.
But July 30th, Dolan's Warehouse, Hard Knocks, Hard Luck. As we said, if you haven't got your tickets, TikTok. 1 week, 1 day, when this episode comes out. Get your tickets now. It's going to be a huge night. As well, very quickly, because again, very, very quickly, it's going to be the night Carmo takes those 2 belts off of Mr. Rob Gold upstairs before the show.
You can tell he's listening to this as well. And if you are listening to this, Rob, be prepared. Be prepared. Because that bag that you bring down to Dolan's on that Sunday, it's going to be a hell of a lot lighter as you're getting that bus back up to Belfast.
Also, Joey, Adam, we called them out first. We get first fucking dibs at those titles. Rob,
If either of those 2 boys are at Dolan's and they want to screw something against me after I take those belts from Rob, they can both step up, but they'll quite quickly step down.
And they'll be ding, ding, done for.
Woo!
But that actually would have been perfect to fucking leave that off. I'm like, oh well.
It would have, in fairness. Do you know what? For the sake of it, people sent in questions. Give us two
I
questions.
honestly
Give us your
can't.
two best questions.
I honestly cannot. I do not have the time. I apologize to the people. I do not have the time.
Can we save them and record them?
We will. Yeah.
to go
Well,
next week?
we can. We can. I'll throw it in for next week. Sorry, 2 weeks time. We're back in our Hard Knox review episode.
Without spoiling it, and be very, very quick. We have an interview next week, so why don't we during the week record it as a bonus part and attach it to the end of the episode? So then people, after they heard the interview, can hear their questions answered and asked by us.
We'll figure it out. We'll get to it. Trust me. I'm in so much of a rush right now. You've no idea. I may get put through a fucking wall after this. But yeah, no, Hard Knocks, Hard Luck. Get your tickets. The draw show was absolutely phenomenal. Lads, thank you so much as always for coming on for the episode. It was very, very fun. Great to talk about Hard Knocks as well. I'm so looking forward to it. Can't fucking wait as well to see that beautiful new title. But actually, do you know what, Emmett? I always give him the last word. You can shout out the socials and then we'll give him the last word.
Okay. So, as always, if you want to support what we do here at the 5Marks before we get any merch done or anything like that, if you see us out and about, be sure to say hello. If you're a bit nervous, don't be. We're very, very friendly, except for Martin. He bites and he drinks milk in front of people.
Let the gimmick die.
No, but on a serious note, just going off of like what happened last week at the show, we weren't there. If you do see any of us out at the shows, do come up and say hello. We are very, very friendly. I may be a bit drunk at Hard Knocks, but yeah.
Do you know what? Fine. Just very quickly as well to Layla and everyone that came up, say hello. Or Layla it was the first person I ever took a photo with ever. It was lovely to meet every single one of you. Scott, Ryan and Dean, Layla, Steffi Chu. It was brilliant to meet you all. And honest to God, I haven't said it. The last couple of weeks have been shit, like really, really shit. That really fucking like perked me up. So thank you so much to everyone that came up, interacted, said hello. I very much appreciate it. It's just so you can follow us 5Marks Pod on Twitter, 5Marks Podcast everywhere else. Sorry to bring the thing down, but we're bringing it right back up. Carmo, you know what I get
you can do. Follow me at Carm Laugh. No, I don't even know what my thing is.
It's Carm Laugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again on another week of the 5Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast. As we've already said about 15 times, do make sure to get your tickets for Hard Knocks July 30th, Dolan's Warehouse in Limerick. But for another week, we are officially ding, ding, done.
Woo!